Download the Pinpoint Weather app on your smart device using the QR codes on the screen or through your app store.
Businesses across Utah are struggling to find employees. A nationwide workforce shortage is hurting businesses already trying to recover from pandemic hardships. Joining me to tell us more, Barbara Riddle, the CEO and president of Chamber West, and Steve Pleim, president of Talent Team. Both of you, thanks so much for being here this morning.
It's our pleasure.
Thank you, Sarah. It's a delight.
This is a big problem, this worker shortage. Can you kind of tell me, what are you experiencing in your neck of the woods? What are you seeing in terms of this shortage?
So this is a major issue that we hear about from all of our businesses. It's percolating through every part of our organization, from our legislative affairs conversations. Are we in a labor crisis right now, workforce crisis? It's in our professional development series, our small business series. It's how to attract, how to retain. It is a major issue. And Steve, with Boots on the Ground, has a lot more in depth with actually working it day to day.
Right. So Steve, Talent Team, you guys work with employers to recruit. That's kind of your full-time gig. How is that changing right now?
Well, it's hard to find employees, obviously. I was just looking yesterday at the job board Indeed.com. They have 55,000 postings just in Utah, and some of those are for multiple people. According to the Department of Workforce Services, there are only 44,000 unemployed people. So there just aren't enough to go around.
There literally are more jobs than there are people available to fill them.
And that's just one job board.
With that, I mean, with that shortage, with those numbers, I mean, employees are getting to be kind of picky. You know, they're getting to shop around. What are you advising your employees to do to make their jobs the most attractive?
Well, we've noticed that they're picky.
Yeah.
But another way to view that is that they have options. And of course, pay rates are going up. There's a shortage, so pay rates are going up.
Right.
And one of the things that we hear from our clients is that it's a competition. And you have to do things to win the competition, because when the music stops, somebody's going to be without a chair.
Right. So talk me through some of those things. What are employers doing?
Well, maybe the best piece of advice I've heard is talk to your sales manager about what you're doing to attract customers, because it's very much like attracting customers now. What is the first thing a customer wants to know? What's the price? Guess what the employees want to know? And it's pushing pay rates up. And they want to have an opportunity, a career opportunity. They want to have a job that appeals to them and feels good to them and can help their family be okay.
Well, and I mean, this is a great opportunity for employees to kind of ask for more healthy work environments.
Absolutely.
Right? There's a flip side to this coin. So for employees, I mean, we have a lot of small businesses in Utah, lots of very entrepreneurial individuals. For those who might not be able to raise their pay rates any higher, any other recommendations for you to kind of draw in employees that they need?
Well, pay is not the only piece of the puzzle. Give me an opportunity with you know, there's an old saying, people don't quit their jobs, they quit their supervisor. Give me additional training. Give the supervisors training. Create an environment that I want to stay in, that I can advance, and I enjoy myself. I enjoy my coworkers, and I feel good about my work.
Employees are also looking for more of a work and life balance, and that's really become a lot more important to them as well. And they can require it.
Right, they have that freedom, that power to require it now.
Yeah.
Steve, with Talent Team, where should people go online for more information, more training?
TalentTeam.com is our website. We'd appreciate the opportunity to talk to anybody about it. Not that we have a million answers, but
you got a few though.
At least
sounds like it.
Let's talk about it. Yeah.
And you've been working closely with Chamber West
and ChamberWest.com also, and we do have a job fair coming up in September, on September 16th, where we're connecting community job seekers with a lot of our businesses.
An awesome opportunity for employers and employees.
Absolutely.
I'm sure. Thank you so much, Barbara, Steve. We appreciate your time. We'll have those links on our website, abc4.com/GMU.
Thank you, Sarah. The time is 6:20. Up next on GMU, COVID restrictions making a huge impact on this year's Olympics. And it's not only affecting the athletes. We report from Japan on how it's hurting businesses there in Tokyo. And Salt Lake City, a top destination for what? Cat lovers. See how high Salt Lake ranks among top cat-friendly cities. All right. Cat got your tongue? Maybe it's got mine this morning. Not with our weather, though. Look at that, downtown Salt Lake. Interesting look out there this morning. All in shadow downtown and waiting for the sun to rise with some ominous clouds on the horizon. We'll explain what you're seeing and with your weather on the forward right after this.
Good morning, and coming up here on GMA, we are live in Milwaukee this morning, where they are still celebrating. What a night for the Bucks and their fans, winning their first NBA title in 50 years. We also spoke to MVP Giannis right after his incredible performance helped lift his team. You'll see that and so much more coming up right here on GMA.
Time now for your weather on the 4s.
And we continue to see that there was a little bit of a shower that moved over us here in the Salt Lake Valley. Look at that. Step out the way, some lightning. We don't normally see overnight storms, but it was a welcomed one. Look at that little surprise here, some rain, and then it just clears up for a bit. But hey, that denotes the moisture that we have in our atmosphere. And as we look outside right now, the doTERRA Salt Lake City camera, at this moment, still seeing a little bit of shower activity hanging over the Oakers, and that continues to be a telling sign. Once again, moisture in our atmosphere, all we need is a little bit of lifting mechanism. So basically what we expect to see with those mountains, and you get those storms popping up. Right now, storm tracker radar still on the nice side, not as widespread storms so far, but we're seeing the makings of some higher elevation storm activity, especially in southern Utah. And that's something that we continue to expect as we do have the possibility for some flash flooding once again. Looking out the door forecast for right now, we are expecting to see temperatures remaining around the 70s, a very nice start to our morning. And as we look at the Wasatch Front traffic so far right now, there is one incident over towards I-15 going closer towards Ogden. It is an accident that has slowed down and created quite a bit of congestion. And as we take a little bit of a closer look, we'll see that there is still traffic hanging around and it's slowing us down a bit. So if you are making your way up towards Ogden, please keep that in mind. It is right around Clearfield, Sunset, and Roy, so that is slowing us down a bit on our Monday morning. Okay.
Are you going to get used to that sound in the next few days? We are just so close to the Olympics, and today we kick off our coverage of Japan 2020 with a look at tourism.
Without any foreign or local spectators allowed in Tokyo, it's just not the Olympic venues that are empty. Our Melissa Marino is in Tokyo with what the city looks like ahead of an Olympic Games like no other.
We are within miles of Olympic venues, yet looking around, you wouldn't know it. As the sun rises over Tokyo, streets of the Olympic host city noticeably quiet.
Going out to dinner and hanging out and experiencing the city, everything is going to be much more restricted.
In the days leading up to the games, restaurants and hotels empty. The athletes, employees, and journalists that are in Japan, including our team, experiencing heavy restrictions for at least 14 days.
We are still going through daily COVID testing. These are the saliva tests.
That means tourist attractions, new and old, will not even see a fraction of the visitors they hoped for.
It's like a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and it's going to be different. Not what they really expected.
Japan travel expert Marion Goldberg says tourism will take a major hit during this year's games.
There were so many new hotels that opened, especially in Tokyo, but other places around Japan as well. They were expecting completely booked hotel rooms at top dollar. And that's not going to be the case.
But the show must go on. And although people can't be here, organizers hope Japan will still have an opportunity to shine on the world stage.
Hopefully all of this will make people want to go later.
In Tokyo, I'm Melissa Marino.
6:27 now, still ahead on Good Morning Utah. People in southern Utah cleaning up after another round of flooding. We'll show you how they're preparing their homes for the next round of rain. Plus, traveling safely for a vacation. Travel safety tips amid the pandemic coming up in a live interview. And as we head to break, here's a look outside our Lake Mountain camera down in Utah County. A beautiful early sunrise there. Good Morning Utah. We'll be right back.
Live from Utah's first TV station, Good Morning Utah at 6:30 starts now.
Good Morning Utah. I'm Sarah Martin.
And I'm Brian Carlson. The time 6:30 on this Wednesday, and we're waking up this morning from a wet night for a lot of people. So let's get straight to meteorologist Cesar Cornejo. And Cesar, I understand this storm rolled in really fast.
Brian, it really did. It was a quick little clipping storm that produced some lightning, some rain, and here's a little bit of a time lapse for it. We'll see that it popped up a little bit after midnight, started to create some lightning. We don't normally see this kind of activity in the Salt Lake Valley, especially in the summer during the overnight hours. But look at that. Boom. Right after, clears up. Not seeing much else after that, but now as we continue to see our day start, we are seeing a little bit of activity starting over top of the Oakers right now. Look at that, a little bit of shower activity. We could all use the rain. It's a much welcome surprise. I will take some morning rain every single time we can. Again, it'll help cool us down temperature-wise and at least helps just barely make a dent into some of our drought conditions. And so far right now, temperatures still hanging around the 70s for us along the Wasatch Front. We continue to see also temperatures around the 80s in towards St. George. And one thing we will expect to see is this high pressure system shifted just a bit, continues to create some spotty showers, more for the southern eastern Utah area, but we still could possibly see some in the northern Utah part, and we'll have a bit more on that in just a moment. But so far, traffic smooth sailing. There is one incident over towards I-15. It's looking like it's starting to clear up a bit. So as we take a little bit of a closer look, it's now starting to be a little bit more smooth sailing, not as much of a slowdown or congestion, as they have now cleaned up that accident for us. Over to you, Sarah.
Caesar, thank you. In southern Utah, people living in Cedar City are still cleaning up the damage from flooding earlier this week. This is what it looked like in one man's backyard. Look at that. He says after 5 years of living on this street, he's never seen a flood like this. Now he's preparing for more to come.
I'm just making sure all the house gutters are clean, the drains are set up right. I might need to do some work here to clear a good path so it just stays away from any homes.
Weather experts want to remind people not to try to drive or walk through water like this. It can be life-threatening.
And also in southern Utah, Zion National Park is getting ready for even more rain. It's prepping its roads for monsoon season. They'll begin work called drainage clearing. Park staff say the goal is to prevent situations like this flood back in June. The maintenance starts next Monday and goes into August. During this time, SR 9 that runs through the park will close to all traffic each night from 10 to 6 a.m. Monday through Thursday.
In a health alert, be careful where you go swimming right now. Harmful algae blooms are prompting state water experts to issue some warnings. ABC4's Jared Jatnini is live from Bountiful Pond in Davis County. Jared, I understand that's one of the places those experts are worried about.
The DEQ just announced that Bountiful Pond and 3 other locations are now under algae bloom warnings. Folks advised not to get in the water here or to fish here. Now take a look at this map. The orange dots are areas where people are advised not to recreate. Bountiful Pond, Manaway, Matt Warner reservoirs, the newest locations joining the list with 5 other locations. Schofield Reservoir right now has a high algae bloom danger for poisoning. The blue dots are all areas right now that the DEQ is monitoring. Now the algae blooms can be blue or green in color and are harmful to people and pets. Here are some safety tips. Don't swallow the water while you're swimming. Wash hands with clean water before eating or preparing food, and clean fish thoroughly. Now we do have more information on our website, abc4.com. Live, Jared Jatnini, ABC4 News.
Thank you, Jared. New this morning, a vigil was held last night for the man who died hiking Bridalveil Falls on Saturday with his fiance's son. Adrian Vanderklis fell down a steep section of that hike. The vigil held at the fall's main parking lot. Vanderklis is survived by his fiance and their 3 children. A GoFundMe has been set up to help the family. Now to that car crash that sparked a car fire and hurt a motorcyclist. This happened yesterday afternoon in Erta on SR 36 and Erta Way. Troopers tell us the motorcycle ran a red light and T-boned that car. The motorcyclist thrown from his bike and flown to a Salt Lake area hospital with serious injuries. The car caught fire. Bystanders got the people inside to safety.
In 2020, the pandemic put a hold on many people's travel plans, but as our restrictions have eased up, more people are taking vacations again. So if you plan to fly somewhere or take a road trip, there's still concern over COVID-19, and the Utah Red Cross is offering safety tips to protect your health. So joining us with a few smart ideas is Sherry Van Bibber with the Utah Red Cross. It's always great to see you here, Sherry.
Thank you, Brian. Thanks.
How big of a concern is COVID-19 for travelers right now?
It's huge, and it's changing weekly, I think. So you really have to stay on top of if you're flying, you need to stay on top of your airlines, and each of them have different requirements. So I think you need to definitely get in touch with them. You need to check your destination, where you're going, whether it's United States or international. You've got to check those qualifications are changing all the time.
Yeah, we see like what's happening right now in Japan with the Olympics set to start, and you have a lot of concerns right there with COVID-19. There are obviously no fans in the stands. You know, you have athletes leaving, going home. Right. So as far as regular people traveling, I know this is a big concern about where you're going, how you're getting there, and who you're interacting with.
And they're also asking everybody to do a viral test, a COVID test 3 days before you leave to go anywhere, and then both again within the United States or international coming back, that you quarantine yourself 7 to 10 days, even if you feel fine, no matter where you've been.
So it seems like even though like the virus here, I mean, we're kind of in this weird place where the virus kind of settled down. We have the virus now ramping back up again with the Delta variant, but the travel restrictions have stayed constant throughout that entire time.
Yes, they have. But it seems like some of the qualifications going, like even going to the grocery store or going out, a lot of people have relaxed, and a lot of facilities have relaxed on spraying down the carts and spraying down where you're at. So I think people need to stay aware of their surroundings and make sure they take care of themselves that way, so we're not spreading, you know, things as we're traveling, especially through airports and travel centers when you're driving.
Yeah, so we have a lot of things to take in mind there, both before and then after you come home as well.
Right, because we don't want to, yeah, that's, if we want to keep that Delta contained, I think we definitely need to have that honesty thing that we quarantine ourselves if we're able to. Well, we need to quarantine, not if. We should be quarantining definitely 7 to 10 days after.
Yeah, with how close we are to the school year here, I don't know how many people are flying necessarily, but there may be some people doing road trips as well, and I know you have some tips there.
We do. We have so many road trips, and I'm listening to the weather, and so many things have come into play too. I mean, just driving out here this morning, it was starting to rain, and every day we've had these little storms. Keep your windows clean. I need to buy a Windex packet, because just looking out your side windows every day, it's bringing all the dirt out of the air. Keep a fire extinguisher in your car. I've had many friends that have had issues, and they've, yeah, a lot of people forget to do that, and once that hits your gas tank, that's not a good thing. First aid, even for yourself, disaster kits. Keep boots. We're in Utah. It doesn't matter what time of year. Keep boots, keep blankets. Disaster kit, a first aid kit for your pet. If you're traveling with your pets, and have a tracker app. I know my cousin came from West Virginia, and we did a Thelma and Louise trip, and we took off on all kinds of roads and got lost a lot.
You didn't drive over the Grand Canyon, did you?
No, but we did do Bryce and Zion's and took off on all kinds of roads, things I had never done, and I was driving. So having that tracker app is important, that people know where you're at.
So it sounds like you have some good things to remember as far as restrictions with the virus right now to keep yourself healthy, and then a couple of things we should always know when we're on the road.
Yes, and keep your mask with you at all times, especially traveling, all public. Transportation is asking you to keep your mask and also your vaccination card, especially when you're traveling. Keep that with you.
You want to be stuck and not go because you don't have that card.
Totally.
Sherry, thanks for being with us here this morning. If you want to get more of the information, those tips, we have a link to the Red Cross's website online at abc4.com/GMU. Talking this morning with Sherry Van Bibber from the Utah Red Cross. Sherry, good to see you this morning.
You too, Brian. Thanks for having me.
Great tips there. 6:38 now, coming up on Good Morning Utah. Heading into Pioneer Day weekend, that means another round of fireworks. We're talking live with fire experts about what to expect during our drought. Plus, Salt Lake City is the perfect place for cat lovers. See why our city ranks among the top cat-friendly cities in the U.S. And don't forget, staying informed has never been easier. ABC4 News is there for you. We've got an app with all your local news headlines. Download from your app store or scan that QR code on your screen. But first, here's what's coming up on Good Morning America.
In this morning's GMA First Look, help wanted. More than a year after the pandemic forced a record number of Americans out of work, now a record number of job openings, with companies going to extremes to try and fill vacancies.
Everybody needs to have a lot of patience. We'll see that this summer. You'll see very sort of uneven service levels because organizations are struggling to get the people they need.
Some even dubbing this summer the Great Resignation. Millions of employees so confident in this jobs market, they're quitting. According to the website ZipRecruiter, nearly 20% of the jobs posted on the site last month offered a signing bonus, up from just 2% in March. And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have the expert tips to help you navigate this red-hot jobs market and score the salary you want. With your GMA First Look, I'm Rebecca Jarvis, ABC News, New York.
Time now for Utah's most accurate forecast with Cesar Cornejo, Weather Rate certified 10 years in a row.
All right, so let's check your weather here. Meteorologist Cesar Cornejo back with us today. You know, and Cesar, it's a lot calmer this morning than it was for some people yesterday.
Brian, yes, it definitely is. As we continue to still go throughout the day, one thing we can expect to see also is more storm possibilities still in our forecast. We're expecting to also still see a little bit of a showery morning for a few of us. Flash flood danger continues, and we still see that because of the monsoonal moisture, we start off the day muggy, and it ends up being a little bit more of an uptick in storm activity towards the end of the week. Let's take a look at this one video we got sent in from Capitol Reef National Park. Look at that. An inch of rain created waterfalls off of the Florida cliffs. That is definitely something to keep in mind. All it takes is one storm to really create those conditions for us, and it becomes deadly. So far right now here through our Dixie Tech camera here in St. George, we're seeing cloud cover hanging around. That's why we see dew points also hanging around the 60s for us, and it's all thanks in large part to this monsoonal moisture. We're seeing that it continues to bring in cloud cover, a little bit of shower activity for parts of the higher elevation around Iron County and Washington County, and we continue to also see showers still popping up for us. Again, like I mentioned, dew points around the 60s in St. George. It's downright muggy, and we continue to even see dew points in the 50s here for parts of the Wasatch Front, over in Wendover at 57. So overall, we're starting off a little bit muggy out there, and we will continue to see temperatures slowly rise. Cloud cover begins to increase a bit. We'll see that temperatures range around the 90s by the time we get to lunch in the afternoon hours. But we won't see as much shower activity up towards parts of the Wasatch Front. Most of it will be relegated towards southern Utah, eastern Utah, as that high pressure shifts a little bit towards the Arizona border. And one area that still continues to see the possibility for excessive rainfall is going to be the spine of the Central Mountains, also parts of the Southern Mountains and Uinta Mountains. So again, higher elevation storms are going to be the name of the game. Flash flood potential still probable in Capitol Reef National Park, so that's something to keep in mind, especially if we're out there recreating. Looking at FutureCast, shower activity really starts to pick up towards the afternoon hours and into the evening. By the time we get towards the overnight hours, it starts to calm down a bit, just cloud cover for us, and then it repeats for us like clockwork over for Thursday, and that's where we still see the possibility for a little bit more widespread shower activity as we return with more high pressure sitting over top of the Four Corners region. And the regional forecast, we're expecting to see that we have temperatures ranging around the 90s and even triple digits, and St. George will be around that triple digit mark for the next few days. Storm activity really starts to pick up towards Friday and that holiday weekend. We expect to see the Wasatch Front will be a little bit drier, but the possibility for some storms still lingers as we see triple digit heat, and we expect to see traffic so far right now, not much in the way. There is that one incident, but it's being cleared up so far near Ogden. So pretty smooth sailing for us. And if you want to still be able to watch more news, weather, and traffic updates, of course, turn over to the CW30 at 7 a.m. to continue watching Good Morning Utah.
Thanks, Cesar. We are days away from the Pioneer Day weekend. That means another round of fireworks in Utah. Beginning tomorrow through Sunday, you can light personal fireworks in certain areas of our state. But fire experts want people to be cautious, especially because of this extreme drought and wildfire season. Joining me to walk us through what's allowed, what's not, Caitlin Webb, the statewide prevention and fire communications coordinator for Utah's Division of Forestry, Fire, and State Lands. Caitlin, thanks for being here with us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, fire season. I mean, Pioneer Day. We all love Pioneer Day. It can be so much fun. Fireworks and all the jazz. It feels like Utahns really got the message for the 4th of July. Not a lot of fireworks happen that day. Are you hoping that people get the message for this holiday as well?
We're hoping that that same trend continues. We've had the past few weeks be a lot of very few human-caused fires, which is really great compared to previous years. We still have had too many. So the public has done a great job adhering to restrictions, making those sacrifices as far as it comes to fireworks, but we can't let our guard down now. Fire season's not over, the drought's still here, so hang in a little bit longer, and yes, we're hoping that it's another quiet holiday weekend.
Got to preserve our beautiful state. Yeah. So those the legal discharge dates begin today, tomorrow the 22nd, and go through Sunday. Talk to me through where we can light fireworks off, how you can be confident that your neighborhood is safe versus not safe.
Yeah, well, it's pretty simple since there's so few places that you can fire fireworks this year. They're never allowed on federal lands. They're prohibited on all state and unincorporated private lands. So that leaves us with the cities and towns. There are a lot of cities and towns that have restrictions and bans as well this year. So just reach out to your local city or town, figure out if there's areas that are safe and they're allowing you to light fireworks. But even if you're going to celebrate that way this weekend, it's really important to think about whether or not it's worth the risk. It's a great year to go ahead and enjoy a public professional fireworks show instead.
And those are cool. Those are big. They happen all over the place, and they're done with your guys' coordination, with firefighters on the ground coordination. So that's why they're so much safer. We've had some rain the last few days. That might make people a little complacent. Are you worried about that? Is the fire danger less because we've had some rain?
Fire danger is moderated a bit in the south where we've gotten a lot more rain, but still up north we haven't got that moisture, and it's important to remember we're not out of fire season yet. Potential is still there, and with these storms comes lightning. And so firefighters are plenty busy with other starts. We had 62 lightning starts last week alone.
Ooh, that's a big number.
So we need to still be doing everything we can to prevent those human-caused starts. Firefighters have enough on their hands to deal with.
Mother Nature doesn't quite follow the time restrictions, does she? She does what she wants. Just one last question before we have to go. It's not just fireworks. You know, there's campfires, all of those other things. Any other last-minute reminders you'd like to give people this weekend and throughout the summer?
As we move into the holiday weekend, check for restrictions as far as campfires. If you're going to have one, please drown, stir, feel, and repeat until it's cold to the touch. And check your vehicle chains before you head out for the weekend. If you're towing a trailer, check your tire pressure, and make sure if you're out, you've got appropriate spark arresters on anything like an off-road vehicle or equipment. So really important things thinking as we move into the holiday weekend.
Maintaining those toys, so important to keeping our state safe. Caitlin Webb, thanks so much for being here this morning.
Thank you.
We'll have a lot of this linked on our website as well, abc4.com/GMU. Thanks, Caitlin.
All right, thank you, Sarah. In your business news, U.S. stock prices took a sharp turn yesterday, and Chipotle is raising prices. Here's your Good Morning Utah business report.
What a difference a day makes. U.S. stock prices rising sharply Tuesday. Investors rushing in to buy shares knocked down during Monday's sell-off. The S&P 500 marking its best day in nearly 4 months. The Dow and NASDAQ each up 1.6%. All three indexes now within 2% of records set earlier this month. Travel stocks among the day's top performers. And United Airlines a case in point, the company reporting a 6th consecutive quarterly loss due to the pandemic. But its revenue has quadrupled from a year ago, exceeding estimates with a strong rebound in domestic travel. United says it expects demand to make a full recovery by 2023. Leisure travel in the U.S. nearly returning to pre-pandemic levels. Plus, Tesla says it will open its charging network to other electric cars later this year. In a tweet Tuesday, CEO Elon Musk also saying his company will eventually make the superchargers available to vehicles in all countries. A bipartisan deal in the U.S. Senate includes a $7.5 billion on electric vehicle infrastructure, including charging stations. And finally, Chipotle is warning higher costs for beef and freight are going to gobble up the hikes in its menu prices. The CFO Tuesday saying costs for commodities and shortages in supplier staffing will mostly cancel out the benefits of higher menu prices. But he says so far the burrito and bowl chain has seen no customer resistance to the 3.5% to 4% increase originally implemented to pay for higher wages. And that's your Good Morning Utah business report.
Now to your fire tracker, we are following a new fire burning in Box Elder County. The Black Pine Fire is burning near the Utah-Idaho border, measuring between 100 and 200 acres at this point. Structures are not threatened. No word yet on a cause.
And turning to our drought, Weber County has a cool plan to save more than 1 million gallons of water this year. During the summer, the Weber County Sports Complex normally melts their ice sheet to do yearly maintenance, and then they fill it back up. That uses up more than 500,000 gallons of water. So this year, they're not doing it. They'll also limit how often staff cut down the ice to make it smoother, which uses up to 150 gallons of water.
If we can economically keep up the effort to conserve water in the future and make sure that our product out here is still a great product for the public, we'll continue to do that.
Now, by the end of the year, Weber County says these changes will save more than 1 million gallons of water.
We're just a month and a half away from the new school year, and school districts like Salt Lake City are feeling a major bus driver shortage. To get kids to school, Salt Lake needs more than 14 bus drivers and a dozen or so aides for this upcoming year. The district says they're offering more than $21 an hour, benefits, medical, dental, life insurance, even retirement, but people still aren't applying.
But being that short, it would mean most likely picking one of our high schools and having to do double runs.
The district plans to have between 50 and 84 students on each bus. All drivers will need to follow district coronavirus protocols. For more on how to apply for one of these jobs, head to abc4.com.
If you're out there driving the bus this morning, I don't know if anyone's doing summer school or you're getting ready to go for the school year, but are they using the windshield wipers today?
Possibly, Brian. A few areas over towards the west part of the valley, here in the Salt Lake Valley, seeing some showers. The Oakers creating that lift that we need. But one thing that we got to see yesterday was quite a lot of flash flooding over in parts of Capitol Reef National Park. This is Sulphur Creek, normally a dry creek bed during this time of year, but because of that 1 inch of rain, finds that creek, goes into its tributaries, and finally flows through it and creates about a 6-inch rise in water just that afternoon. We continue to see that. We also see cloud cover hanging around St. George, and temperatures also reflecting a warm one for us. Temperatures ranging around the 70s, 60s, 80s in St. George. So overall, a warm start to our morning. We can expect to see that for today. We'll be teetering that 100-degree mark in both St. George and Salt Lake City, with a little bit more isolated storm chances for us in St. George. And as we continue looking at traffic so far right now, not seeing much in the Wasatch Front. Pretty smooth sailing for us as we continue our Wednesday morning. Looking at drive times, we have drive times around 31 minutes in both directions for Salt Lake City and Ogden, as that accident has been cleaned up, so traffic is now smooth flowing. And as we look at drive times between, of course, Salt Lake City and Provo, right there, a little bit quicker than normal drive times for us. And if you want to make sure that you're ahead of any of the weather happenings, be sure to download the Pinpoint Weather app on your smart device using the QR codes in the screen or through the Play Store or your App Store.
All right, thanks, Caesar. It's baby birthday time. We have 2 today. So
Awesome.
fun. This first one is Dean Aaron BAER. Dean turns 1 today. His great aunt Lori sent us this photo. Look how cute he is.
Oh, he's a cutie.
He's like, he's 1 year old and he's already ready to deliver like an inaugural address or something. You know?
Like, hear me now. I
Yes.
have things to say.
I am wise. I am a wise 1-year-old. So Dean, we actually wished him happy birthday last year when he was only 9 days old, which is pretty cool. I love that. Dean, practically part of the family now. His family says he's energetic, helps daddy with tools too big for him, and he's learned to stand on his tippy toes and even open the back door. Industrious Dean.
See, he's making some progress.
Oh, yeah.
He's getting going
Happy
in life.
birthday, Dean. You're so cute. Also, we get to wish a family birthday today. KRISTINA Horn's birthday. She's the big sister of our GMU producer, Taylor.
She looks like Taylor.
I know she does, kind of.
Doesn't she? Yeah, I think so.
KRISTINA, happy birthday. She turns 28 today. Taylor says KRISTINA is a PhD student at UC Irvine, and she's one of the hardest working people she knows. Taylor says, I miss her so much, but know her and my niece Veronica are killing it in California. Happy birthday, Nina. KRISTINA, I bet you are killing it in California.
Happy birthday to you, KRISTINA.
Yes, we love celebrating birthdays with your kids, grandkids. Send us their photos to news@abc4.com.
Well, I don't know if those kids are dog people or cat people, but apparently Salt Lake City is a great place for cat people. A new study from One Vet ranks the top 50 cat-friendly cities, and look who's cracking the top 3.
Wow.
Salt Lake City, 3 for cat people. It
How
says,
do we earn this honor?
Well, they look at cat-friendly criteria like pet-friendly rentals, number of veterinarians, number of cat options in 2020, cat cafes, and pet stores.
We do have a cat cafe downtown Salt Lake.
I have seen it.
That's why.
Pretty cool.
Thanks for making us part of your morning.
More local news coming up on Utah's CW30.